Bom dia from Portugal. I arrived in Portugal last night, and I was staying in Porto for the night, and now I am on my way to Lisbon, and I took a Flixbus after I lost the first bus that I had at 8 in the morning. But that's just me. Of course, last night when I arrived at the hostel, I realized that I booked a bed in a women's room. So and they didn't have any more beds there, so I had to find another hostel and go there. The start of my journey is not really great, but hey, yeah, it's life, it happens, and I have to be a little bit more careful with this. Anyways, it's 10:15. I'm gonna be in Lisbon around 12:15, so I have another 2 hours on the bus still, and I'm gonna meet a friend there, Elena. She is a tour guide in Lisbon, so I cannot wait to go with her in a tour. But yeah, you guys stay tuned and follow me around Lisbon. Hey guys, I just arrived in Lisbon and now I'm heading to my hostel, and that means that I have to take the metro. Now I just have to remember how to use the metro in Lisbon. I've been in Lisbon in Portugal a couple of times, like 11-12 years ago, so that is a long time ago. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
Very precious time when you travel to spend it with me. I am a traveler myself, and I truly value the time when I travel, so thank you, really. I'm going to do my very best to give you a 1,000 stars experience. It's a 2-lane street though. My name is Elena, and I want you to feel like you're in town with a friend and not with this random woman you met by a monument. But really, I have no taboos around anything. You can ask all the questions you might have in the world. I don't have all the answers, but I'm good friends with Google, so hopefully we'll find a way around it. And I will share with you a little bit of my story, and then I would love to hear a little bit from your end as well. How long have you been here for? What motivated you to book this experience? What are some of your curiosities, of your interests? Why did you decide to go abroad, not explore your own? So I get a sense of who you are, and I can also craft this experience according to your needs, your wants, your desires. Yeah? My story. I like to say that I have Romanian blood, Latin soul, and global peace. I was born in Romania. I moved to Portugal 9 years ago. I came here to do a study abroad program called Erasmus. Are you familiar with Erasmus?
Yeah.
Erasmus is a very popular study abroad program here in Europe. It's a program of the European Union that gives us, the students, a chance to go and study in a different country. So that's what I did. 9 years ago, very soon, September 13 is going to be 9 years. I came here and I was supposed to stay 1 semester, but then my 1 semester converted into a year. And then I was in my last year of master's. So I prolonged my scholarship. I stayed here for the whole year, then I went back to Romania. I defended my master's and I came back to Portugal, where I started a volunteering service. So basically my second year here in Portugal, I was working with kids in a foster care institution. And ever since I was studying here, I was organizing these random trips for my fellow Erasmus students. Like, let's go hiking. Come walk with me. Day trip to Sintra. Come walk with me. I have no clue that what I was doing for fun back then was going to become my career. But literally 9 years later, I'll be showing this wonderful city to thousands and thousands of travelers from all over the world. So my plan for today is to share with you what are those signs, maybe vibes that made me fall in love with the city. If you're not in love with Lisbon yet, challenge accepted. That's on me, I take it. And well, that's my very long story, very short.
As I was telling you earlier, I met up with my friend Elena, who is a tour guide here in Belfast, and now we are actually in the tour guide, so you guys just follow along, and yeah, I think it will be very fun and interesting. It's about 3 hours and a half, she was saying, so that's quite a lot of time, but yeah. So if you come to Portugal and you want to take a more friendly tour, personal tour, you can contact Elena on Airbnb, and I'm gonna leave you a link in the description as well. Hello, I'm good.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Look at this view of the castle. You know, actually this view, let's go there.
Oh.
Okay. This view is welcoming us to the because more than 20% of Moreria's inhabitants are Portuguese people. They are immigrants. We have mainly people from Bangladesh, India, China, Angola, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau. And for me, it's really beautiful and inspiring to see that people that came from all over the world with different religion beliefs and different views, they managed to find this cohesion and live together in harmony. It hasn't always been that way, but really nowadays Morelia is this place in town where you can go every day and dance a new dance, learn a new language, taste a new food. It's really a melting pot of cultures. And here we go. There is okay, so the thing with Fado is I do believe that Fado survives because of tourism. And it's one of the positive impacts that we do have as travelers. And I like that it's being supported, because otherwise, as a local, I would go to listen to Fado for twice a year. It's not a thing that the locals do all the time. And thankfully, because tourists come and they want to listen to it, just survives as a tradition. But there are a few places that are less touristical than others. And one of them is called Tashka Dunkshi. I can write it down for you. It's the Bible. And if you will pass by a restaurant now in the tour, I will also point it out to you.
Great. Good.
About her because she had a very interesting life story. She was born there, but not in this pretty house. Her mother was a gypsy, her father was a sailor, her mother was a prostitute, and so was Maria Severa. And you'd be like, wait a minute, the founder of fado music, a prostitute? Yes, sir. Kind of an atypical prostitute. She was incredibly beautiful, and she had an amazing voice. And she would have lovers from the high society, from the nobles. One day, one of her lovers saw in her not just her beauty, but also her incredible voice, and invited her to sing. And it was actually the first time when someone sang fado and was paid to sing fado. That way, Maria Severa, a prostitute, is considered the founder of fado music. Unfortunately, she had a very tragic destiny. She passed away when she was just 26. The most romantic would say, out of a broken heart. The most pragmatic because of tuberculosis. But you know, broken heart, broken lungs, heart chakra, right? What's certain is that she passed away leaving a very important mark in the local culture, taking fado music to a whole new level, making fado acceptable among the nobility. Because imagine that fado was born here. It would be sung on the streets of Moleria and people's houses and the taverns, but it wasn't really accepted by the upper classes. But this lady took fado music to the nobility. And look how magical is this place right here. Across the street, in this house right here, 100 years later was born another important fado singer. This time, a man. Or better said, a kid. As Fernando Mauricio was just 7 years old when he was invited to sing fado in the Portuguese television. So he took fado music to a whole new level, from the street of Moreria and the nobility classes where Maria Severa left it, to the Portuguese television. And then we had voices like Amalia Rodriguez, who's considered the queen of fado, or Marisa. Marisa is a contemporaneous Portuguese singer. She probably has concerts all over the world. This lady took fado music to the stages of the world. And what's pretty interesting is that nowadays, fado music is not important just for Portugal. It's important for all of us, having been declared UNESCO Immaterial Heritage. So, if you didn't have all the reasons in the world to go and listen to a fado show, pick. I check them all. Really, for me at least, when I travel, I feel that what makes of an authentic traveling experience is having the chance to eat the local food, drink the local drinks, listen or dance the local dances. Of course, it would be fantastic to have the chance to wine and dine with the local family and sit their habits around the table. Well, that's not always possible, but make sure you check as many as you can out of these experiences. Deal! The Remedy Street that has many fado houses. So if you make it there, you can choose.
So you can also sit in the restaurant and just listen.
And the transformative impact that it has. And I'm an artist myself, and I'm a firm believer that there is an artist within all of us, discovered or undiscovered. Who's discovered? Who's discovered? Does anyone make any sort of art? Singing and playing. Any art?
I play the piano.
You play the piano? Oh,
Ooh,
so
cool.
Nice. I write poems maybe, and I dance. I like it all. Well, because I love art and what an incredible impact it has for transformation, I do want to honor that artist and the artist within all of us and translate that poem for you. And once I translate it, you'll understand that it's very meaningful. It says like this: this Spanish house I was built by many hands. I was adorned with dials. Under my feet, I kept big secrets. I was the refugee for lovers. I had a big patio with a swing and a terrace. They put wood on me. I was eaten, by termites. When I was young, I was good shelter. Now that I'm old, I'm being punished. I am blindfolded, disputed among brothers. I was aligned at my corners, and today my pieces are falling apart.
I think probably just since you're generally would be my favorite. I like the food and
Both.
even though the people are making us more, but I still noticed that you had gone on the flight.
No. He called and said he had this amazing internship opportunity. That's my memory of the MS, you know?
Let's go down, right?
Oh, we go down here? Oh, cool.
My first time there, I did
You are very welcome.
overnight, and then did this my first week there.
Oh, I think I know this street.
Yeah, well, I didn't pick up. I just
It's the one with the drawing with the fado singer.
and I had
Fado singer? Is it?
I don't know.
But it is for it does have that sort of J.K. Rowling connection that they were playing up, which
This is the same artist. Camila Watson. Right there, in the middle of this square. Not anymore, but for many years it was a workshop area.
Right. Well, that's, here's 31. We'll find it online.
one part of it was making a decent living, but the point of that is to give it away, give as much away as effectively as possible.
Is it cooled off yet?
Oh, it's still summer. Yeah, it's beautiful. This is the
September
best time of
is the
year.
best month.
September is the
In Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Boston as well. It finally cooled off. It was miserably hot.
well,
She said
yeah,
you're
you
from
had a lot of.
Pennsylvania?
We did get a really
We
bad
didn't
heat wave.
get
Chicago
that. Yeah, it's been
So I very much feel
And
Thanks to
the air
Chris.
conditioning situation is not
What do you call the people from
hard.
Chicago?
I
no.
found
Chicagoans.
My apartment has it, but
Chicago.
I would walk out the door to work and just
Interesting. And I booked this whole amphitheater for us. You can have a seat if you feel like. Machine number 1111. This is the captain speaking. Fasten your seatbelts because we will have turbulences along the way. Let's go there. Let's go to that day that marked the before and after. It shifted the paradigm, the mentality of the Portuguese people, their superstitions, the way they look at life. November 1st, 1755. Are we there? Portuguese, Catholic. What are we celebrating today on November 1st?
Oh, I know. The Day of the Dead.
Alright, Day of the Day.
Yes.
Of All Saints Day. So at 9 in the morning, everybody would be in the churches praying for the souls of their loved lost ones. When? The infamous earthquake happens. 8.7 on Richter scale. Everything is shaking,
Wow.
like hell. The buildings are falling, the churches are falling. And as it is November 1st and people light up candles, when the walls are breaking on top of the candles, what happens? Fires all over. Now imagine all the area of downtown Lisbon in fire. What are the people looking for? Fire will look for?
Water.
Water. Everybody was running straight away to the river. And they arrived by the river and the water was retracting and the fish was visible in the riverbed. And they would say, "Thank you, God. This is a sign from you. You are giving us food and we'll overpass this catastrophe." And guess what? Well, they thought that was God's mercy. Those were the 3 tsunami waves that were coming back. Can you imagine? In just one day, having an infamous earthquake, then fires all over, and then 3 tsunami waves. Really, out of an apocalyptic movie. In this day, 85% of the city was destroyed, and 35,000 people died just in Lisbon. But that wasn't enough. They actually say that the neighborhood of Baixa was the most affected. Why do you think was that? Baixa is where we start. It's low, and actually they say that underneath in Baixa, there's no solid rock. There are just alluvials, sediments brought by Tejo, by Tagus River. They say that in the earthquake day, back in Baixa, cracks of up to 5 meters wide opened in the ground, engulfing everything. Baixa was completely destroyed. But this is the reason why Baixa nowadays looks like no other neighborhood in town. If you take a map and you look at Baixa, it's probably the only place in town where you can't get lost. Because we have wide big avenues, perpendicular rectilinear streets. Actually, the whole neighborhood of Baixa is known as the first earthquake-proof lab in the history of humanity. How come? Let's see how they rebuilt. So, the guy that was ruling Portugal at the time was a guy called Joseph I. He's in Praça do Comércio, this big square by the waterfront. If you go there, he has a huge statue on the horse. He was ruling Portugal at the time. But they say that this guy was a coward. When the earthquake happened, he ran away. They say that he has never ever in his entire life lived under a rooftop. So he took all the royal family, moved it in Belém. Have you heard of Belém? He ran it up to Belém, it's Ajuda. Nowadays they have their Palacio Nacional de Ajuda that was built by his daughter Maria. Because actually he was so scared that they lived all together in tents. Well, the most luxurious tents you can think of, but still in tents. And this guy handed all the power in Portugal to his prime minister, Marquis of Pombal, to put it simple. Otherwise, José Sebastião de Carvalho e Melo. Marquis of Pombal, right? This guy was the strong leader that put together a team of architects and engineers, and they created together the reconstruction plan of the city. And let's see how they rebuilt. What makes Baixa an earthquake-proof lab? Basically, at the foundation of all the buildings in Baixa, they placed pine poles riveted in the water table. This would give stability to the buildings. And they went higher with the structures of these buildings, and they created a cage-like structure. Wooden beams integrated together that would give flexibility to the buildings. And you know, these buildings, they wouldn't have right angles, right here. They would be leaning. Leaning like this, because if it shakes and it cracks, it would crack inside and not outside on the street. How genius is that if we're talking about 1755? And what if I tell you that they managed to build the whole neighborhood of Baixa in just 3 years? How was that possible? Easy peasy. The first example in history of prefabricate. If you look at all the buildings in Baixa, they look all the same. The windows are the same, the doors are the same, all these elements, they build them outside of the city, brought them here by boat, and then very quickly assembled them together, like a Lego. And in that way, it was possible to build the whole neighborhood of Baixa with this architecture. Actually, the kind of architecture in Baixa is known as Pombalin architecture. Because the mastermind behind the reconstruction plan of the city was Marquis of Pombal. And really, when you'll be back in Baixa, have a look at the buildings. You can notice with naked eye what I'm sharing with you. Because if you look at the buildings, you will notice that the windows get smaller and smaller the more you go higher. That's because of all these cage structures all inside of the walls in Baixa. Alright, so that's the case of Baixa. Now, the only neighborhood that survived that day was
Alfama.
Alfama. And we're heading there. to find out why. Welcome back to our Portuguese street artist. So the first floor is a collage among the 5 artists, and as we go in this spiraling well, on each individual level we will find the mark of a particular artist. And now you can keep at it. Enjoy.
Do you read a lot?
This is the same bridge on a smaller scale like the one in San Francisco, from what I understand. Isn't it cool though? Yeah.
This is a really cool opportunity to get a sense of the city.
And up here we have the castle, San Jorge Castle.
And we have this neighborhood that's down there.
Airways killed my whole family. And, you know, maybe I believe it, maybe I don't. But I was very lucky, thank God.
Work for the best pastéis. I'm going to invite you all for a pastel. Do you have any food restrictions?
Pastel de nata.
Okay, cool. I don't care for everyone. If you use the restaurant, they'll have the recipe right here. Otherwise, you can wait for.
So we just went to this place called Pasteleria Santo Antonio, and I just had the best pastel de nata ever. If you come to Lisbon, to the city, I would advise you to come here and try it. One pastel de nata was around €1 or €1.50, and I also had one croissant which was €1.50, but both of them were delicious. And this place, you can find it in Alfama neighborhood, just downhill of Castelo de San Jorge. We just arrived to this amazing place. Somebody is playing some jazz music here, as you can listen. Gorgeous. So this is where Elena's tour is ending, with an amazing view over Alfama neighborhood. For now I'm gonna close here, although I might add a little bit more video later, depends what I'm gonna do tonight. But I hope you enjoyed the city with me so far. So yeah, peace and subscribe, like the video, follow, share, comment, you know, everything. And thank you so much for watching.